Hi there, my name is Chris Winter, and in this video I'm going to go over some of the buttons and dials on your brand new Canon SL2 or 200D, so hopefully I can help you in some way figure out which buttons you should be using and what they do. And guys, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely make sure to check out my brand new list, the top 5 must-have lenses for the Canon SL2 or 200D. In that list I go through some of the best lenses for you and your brand new camera, so if you want to check that one out, I'll put a link in the description box below under this video. But anyway, let's take a look at some of these buttons and dials so we can get you taking some awesome photos as soon as possible. So now we've learned the very basics of getting your camera up and running, let's now take a look at some of the physical features. So to turn the camera on, it's as simple as you'd expect. All you need to do is flick the little switch at the top here to the on side. You should hear the camera turning on and the rear LCD will also come on. Let's now take a look at some of the buttons on the top and the back of your camera. Starting at the very front of the camera, we have probably what is the most important button, and that's the shutter button, or the button that we'll be using to physically take a photo. This button has two ways to use it. Firstly, you can use it with a half press, and this will allow you to autofocus. And secondly, you can do a full press, and this will allow you to take a photo. So like I said before, once you're looking through your viewfinder, you can frame up your subject, and if it's not in focus, lightly press down on the shutter button. From here, you'll probably hear your camera autofocusing, or more specifically, your lens autofocusing. Once your subjects come into focus, you should hear a beep, something that sounds a little bit like this. This means that your subject's focused and you're ready to take the shot. And again, like I said before, taking that photo is easy. Once you've heard that beep, your subject's in focus and you're ready to take your very first shot. Well done. Now, moving backwards slightly, we have a dial. You can use this dial right or left, and you'll use this quite a lot to quickly change your settings. With this dial, depending on what mode you're in, you can change your settings such as your shutter speed, your aperture, and even your ISO. Speaking of ISO, we have two buttons here that you might use quite regularly. On the left is your ISO button, which will allow you to quickly change this, and on your right is your display button. Moving down to the top left, we've got a button that you'll use a lot, and that's the menu button. Whenever you press this button, you'll be taken into a mode where you can change all of your different settings on the camera. This is great, and it's one of the reasons why I love shooting on DSLRs, because you've got so many different options to change on your camera. You can move through the menus either by using the touchscreen on the back of the camera, remember we've got a touchscreen on the Canon SL2, or by using the main dial or the touchpad on the right here. Now next to the menu button is a button that I love to use, which is the info button. It's great, especially if you're using a live view monitor, as it allows you to customize exactly what you see on the screen. Now there might be times when you want to see all of the different settings that you're currently using, or times when you want to have a completely bare screen so you can really focus on your subject and your composition. You can even add a histogram or a level on the back of your camera to really make sure you're getting the correct shot. To change what's displayed, it really is pretty simple though. All you need to do is hit that info button until you're happy with what's being displayed. Moving right again, you're going to see your viewfinder, which is something that you'll use a lot. Now, even though your Canon SL2 does have an LCD screen on the back, it still is a good idea to use the viewfinder when you're taking photos. There's a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, autofocus is generally a lot quicker when using it. It also gives you another point of contact and stability, which means it can help you get sharper shots with less camera shake. And another reason is that in bright conditions, it can be a lot easier to see the viewfinder than seeing the actual LCD screen because of glare. Now, if you normally wear glasses or have trouble seeing, you might want to use this diopter scroll wheel, which is located right next to it. You can adjust this to your liking. Moving to the right again, we've got a button that I love to use as a filmmaker, and that's the record button. We know that this is a record button because it's got this little red dot here, which is pretty much the symbol of recording. When you're in video mode, to start a video recording, all we need to do is hit that red button and you're good to go. You'll be able to see that you're recording as well by checking the rear LCD screen, which will say it's recording as well. But what if you hit this record button in stills mode? Well, that's a good question. Well, what it will do is it'll bring up the live view mode for taking photos. So if you don't want to shoot with the viewfinder for any reason, you can simply press the live view button and you'll see the LCD screen come to life. If you want to turn it off, again, all you need to do is hit it again and you'll see that we've got our regular stills screen. Moving down, we have our AV and exposure compensation button. This is another very useful button because this will allow you to change different settings by using it in conjunction with your main mode dial button that we talked about before. So say for example, you're in manual mode, you can change your aperture by simply pressing this down and using the scroll wheel. It really is as simple as that, but we'll talk more about changing those settings in another video. Below this, we have our 4-way touchpad. You can press up, down, right and left to move through your menus, or even change your focus point. And in the middle of it, we have our Q button and Set button. As you can see, when we press this button, it allows us to enter into settings, and then by pressing it again, it allows us to confirm these settings that we want. Below this again, we have 2 buttons that are in blue. These being the Playback button and the Trash Can button or Delete button. After you've taken a photo or a video, you can use the Playback button to review your shots. After you've pressed this, you can either use the touchscreen to swipe through the photos, or again, you can use the touchpad to scroll through your photos. But what if you've taken a photo that you don't really like? It might not be in focus, or it might be a little bit blurry. Well, we all have those kinds of photos. So again, that's why we have the Trash Can button. If you see a photo that you don't want to keep, you can press the Delete button to get rid of it. You'll get a confirmation just in case, but if you're 100% ready to get rid of it, you can go ahead and send it to trash. Now we've got 2 more buttons at the top right here, and these are the magnifying buttons. Again, in playback mode, we can use these to zoom in and out to see exactly whether the photo is sharp or if there's something in your teeth. To zoom in, all you need to do is press the top button, and to zoom out, you can press the bottom button. It really is as simple as that, and you'll probably use this quite often. So there you go guys, that was just a quick overview of some of the buttons and dials on your Canon SL2. And guys, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely make sure to check out my brand new list, the top 5 must-have lenses for the Canon SL2 or 200D. In that list, I go through some of the best lenses for you and your brand new camera. So if you want to check that one out, I'll put a link in the description box below under this video. So there you go guys, hopefully I was able to help you with some of these different buttons. Now if you haven't done it yet, definitely make sure to check out my other videos on the Canon SL2. I've made lots of different videos and tutorials so you can really learn how to take some great photos with your brand new camera. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.